We constantly get this idea that, women are only attracted to the bad boys, right? They're not attracted to good guys. Good guys are pretty much over with. Women don't really respect the good guys. And I believe a lot of people fail to understand what that truly means, right? Because it's not about you being a good guy and women just not liking you because you're good and they only like the guy who's bad, the guy that's cheating on them all the time. It goes deeper than that. And this is from personal experience because I've been on both sides. I've been on both sides. Now, you got to understand when women say they like bad boys, you see that they're attracted to bad boys, what they love about the bad boy is the unpredictability, not knowing what he's up to. Like they can't put a finger on what he's going to do next, which then creates this level of excitement because there's a certain unknown. They're attracted to the sex appeal. The bad boy typically has a pretty good physique. Doesn't have to be like Olympia level or like super, super jacked or anything, but like a good aesthetic, lean, and attractive physique, right? What I like to call a fuckable physique. He has that. And that gives him a lot of sex appeal. And he has this charisma when he talks to women. And she can see that other women are attracted to him, which then gives her the dread of thinking like, well, wait, what if he goes off with this woman? Well, he can easily attract women. Why is he with me? I need to always be better and better and better to make sure that I can keep him around. There's even a desire, there's a want and need to please that bad boy because he has so many options. Doesn't mean he exercises on those options. It just mean, and typically the bad boy does exercise on those options and sleeps around and does all this shit. I was there before in life, done that. That's a topic for another day. It's not worth it. But now we look at the good guy. Here's the difference. There's the good guy who is honest, who is somebody who is a leader, is somebody who does everything correctly, doesn't cut corners, does everything the way that nature intended it to be. Does not do anything just super, super crazy. Like good as in only good intentions. Then there's the nice guy. There's good and nice. There's a split with this whole good guy umbrella. There's the nice guy and there's the good guy. I just told you what the good guy was. The nice guy is the one that pretends to be the good guy but wishes that he was the bad guy but can't do it because he doesn't have the balls to do it. This is what doesn't attract women. The one that doesn't have any boundaries, gets himself walked over every second of the minute or every minute of the second. Every second of the minute. Same shit. Every single part of the day, he literally gets himself walked on. He doesn't know how to establish his own boundaries. He doesn't know like, okay, this is why I don't like this. This is why I don't want you to do this. Doesn't enforce any rules in terms of where his boundaries are being crossed. And constantly gets walked over by this woman left and right. Always make sure that he does every single thing that the woman wants and is afraid to make her upset, even though what he wants to do is going to benefit both sides. Right? He puts on this mask because he doesn't have many options, right? Women don't look at him at all. He has no sex appeal. So the woman that he's with doesn't even assume that he has anybody who's interested in him, which makes him like, well, why am I with him? Why don't women want him? Why am I the only one that's with him? So there's this idea of like there's no competition. Women thrive in the fact that they can compete for a man. Regardless of what you think, regardless of what you hear women say, again, it's all about what they do, not what they say, right? They are always attracted to a guy who can get anybody and that chooses them. That is way more attractive than a guy who can't get anybody and just gets lucky with them. Because now they're the prize and the guy is pretty much on the lower end of the spectrum. And it becomes this game of like, okay, well, I have to find better. That's where this whole hypergamy thing comes around in the whole red pill community thing. Like they always talk about that. Hypergamy. It's just finding the best option. And the bad guy tends to make himself seem like the best option because he literally is somebody that all these other women want. So this goes into my point of how do you, as a good man, have the same effect as a bad guy, a bad boy, right? And it's all about one, setting boundaries, knowing exactly what you stand for and what you don't stand for, what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate, knowing what will make you not happy, but like content in the relationship with that person, what will make you just upset in that relationship, right? Understanding that. And also developing yourself as a man, right? So building your body, building your physique, getting lean, getting aesthetic, looking good, dressing well, keeping yourself well kept so that you are universally attractive. So When you go out with your woman, she notices like, well, yeah, a lot of people are looking at him, or he gets a lot of respect from other people. Like, you have that certain effect that like you're desired by a lot of other people. It's not just her. She's not giving you an opportunity to be with her. You're giving her an opportunity to be with you. Right? And you're probably saying, well, Martel, like, how do you remain good to be able to attract women if they're only liking the nice guy? Well, just don't do anything nefarious. Don't do anything that does not have good intentions behind it. Right? Always do things that are mutually beneficial for both sides. For example, a nice guy will allow for a woman to go to the club knowing that she's advertising herself for other men, and then when she gets in some sort of like trouble or gets into some sort of entanglement in that club, he'll then wonder what the fuck happened. You didn't set the boundary. The nice guy, that's what he does. He lets her go. The bad guy or the bad boy says, no, I'm not going to let you go there. Like, the fuck? Like, of course not, right? But he won't explain himself. The good man will go in and say, look, I don't want you to go to the club because at the end of the day, that's for single women who are trying to advertise themselves. We both can go to the club together. I have to be with you. And the reason for that is I want to make sure that you're protected. If you're going with your girlfriends, then you won't be protected because women won't be able to physically protect you from a man who's trying to hurt you. It's always enforcing the boundary and explaining the bad. That's the difference between the bad boy and the good man. The good man is a leader. The bad boy is the tyrant, right? And the tyrant will be able to get he'll be able to get his way short term, but long term it won't work, right? It literally cannot work long term. The good man is able to get his way by having a aligned incentive. So when you tell the woman that, you say like, look, when you go to the club, X, Y, and Z, this is what happens, and I don't want you to be unsafe. That is why I don't want you to go to the club. She'll respect that. She'll understand that there's logic behind it. It's not an emotional thing. It is a logical statement, and you've broken down why. If she has a panic attack or she just starts to just go crazy, great. If you want to go to the club, you can go, but this relationship is over. That is what the good guy does, sets boundaries. Complete boundaries, right? She does something, she disrespects you. You say, look, I don't appreciate you doing that, and I won't tolerate that. If you continue doing that, then the relationship's over. I'm out. You can leave. Again, you explain the boundary, you explain the logic behind that, right? And you enforce it. And you give the option to either stay or leave. The bad boy never gives the option to leave. He always manipulates in a way to where he wants to keep that person around and does not give them the option to leave, tries to keep them stuck. The good man has so much abundance, has so much going on for himself that he doesn't even care. He's like, look, I know who I am. I know where I'm going. You either follow in my steps and respect my boundaries, or you can leave. I'm not keeping you here. The bad boy needs to keep that woman around because again, he has that narcissistic personality disorder. That's what a lot of bad boys have. By the way, being a narcissist or having narcissism is not bad. There's healthy narcissism, right? To love yourself and to be able to make sure that you are the best version of yourself. That's healthy narcissism. The good man has it as well, but he has it checked. It doesn't take on his entire personality. The bad boy, it's his whole personality, right? It's attractive short term, but long term it's detrimental. That's what you have to understand. The difference is the bad boy, he's attractive short term, long term detrimental. The nice guy is unattractive, but well, settles, right? And never ever is attractive and just tries to wait forever and ever and ever. He just keeps getting walked on, keeps getting walked on, keeps getting disrespected. The good man enforces the boundaries, is attractive because he has everything put together. He's multidimensional. He has a bunch of shit going on, but he also knows how to handle women. And long term, he's solid because he has the long term provisioning. He has everything going on. He has the direction. He has the vision. He has the clarity. That's what a good man is. That's what I believe all men should strive to be. Now, what's interesting is the good man will always have the option to just go fuck around with a bunch of different types of women. But if he's with one woman, then he will choose that woman every single day. The bad boy has to fall for his impulses. I gotta go fuck every single woman. That's the bad boy, right? The nice guy doesn't even have any fucking options. He literally just sits there and he's like, well, whoever comes, I'm just going to give them everything that they want and make them just feel amazing because I don't have the option. And here's the craziest part. When it comes to cheating, the nice guy cheats the most. The bad boy may not even cheat. The bad boy may just say, look, I'm not here to be exclusive. I want to be able to do whatever it is that I want, whatever. You can stay with me. You should stay with me, but I'm gonna go fuck around and you're not. That's the bad boy, right? Again, short term, yeah, kind of attractive because he has options, etc. Long term, very detrimental because obviously a woman's not going to want that shit long term, regardless of what these bullshit red pill gurus tell you. It's not true. Look at all of their relationships, if they've even had one, and you'll see that that shit has failed year after year after year. There's not one that's been fucking successful. All of them. Look at all of their receipts. All of them. The good man is the one that says, look, I have all these options, but I have one woman, and I'm going to lock into that one woman. I'm going to pour, I'm going to pour, I'm going to pour into her, pause. Well, not pause, actually. Solid. This is a solid take. I got to have the pause insurance. You know what I mean? I got to have the pause insurance. But he'll see that, and then he'll say, you know what? I have all these other options, but I like this one. I want this one. I can build with this one. And he'll choose her every day. And he exercises discipline. He doesn't exercise hedonism just because he can, right? And for me, I like to categorize myself as the good man versus the bad boy. Like I used to always want to be the bad boy. That's why I did all this shit and all. Like it's cool when you're young. You're 19, you're 20. Do that shit. Get that shit out of your system. As you get older, man, I'm 28 now. There's no reason for me to do that. I'm married. I'm good. Like I don't have any desire to do anything. I can be around guys who do shit like that and it won't influence me because I know I'm like, bro, I've been there, I've done that. It's not fun. It's stupid. It's all for the ego. And at that, when it comes to that, fuck the ego. I don't need to feed my ego with women. I don't. That is a slippery slope, my friend. You do not want to feed your ego with women because there are a lot of catastrophic disasters that come with that. And you don't want to deal with that. There's the Me Too movement. There's having an unexpected child being born. There is getting a fucking disease. There are all kinds of shit that go on when you try to feed your ego with women. So that is a complete no. If I feel like my ego is taking over and trying to make me do things that are not in my own principle, I cut it short. I've mastered my ego. I use my ego specifically for certain things, but I can master it when I need to, when I see that it's stepping out of line. So that's the difference. And that's how you can be a good man in a relationship or in an interaction with a woman. You don't need to try to fake and be this bad boy. If that's not you, and honestly it shouldn't be you, because a lot of those guys are, you'll see the same bad boys that you went to school with. They're single, they're lonely, they're also broke as fuck because they let their ego control them. They let their base desires control them. They couldn't control themselves. They had no discipline, so they couldn't take on other aspects of life. Hedonism, alcoholism, all of this shit just getting smacked on them because they had zero control. The good man has control with abundance. The bad boy has no control with abundance. And the nice guy has scarcity with no control. Just fake control. Because how the fuck can you control? Like, imagine, it's like guys who say, like, money's not everything, but they've never had money. Of course you're going to say that shit. Of course you're going to have these moral ethics because you've never experienced abundance there. So you never had the option to even choose what it is that you're choosing. Or they say, oh, I only want one woman and all this. Well, if you've never had an abundance of women, or you've never had the option of having an abundant amount of women, there is no fucking chance that you can even say that genuinely because you've never had all of the abundance and the temptations to even reject it. We look at Jesus. I've been studying Jesus a lot, right? As a figure, the biggest credibility that he has, if you look at it, right? Like, forget all the other shit that's being talked about, like all the religious, like just like obsessive people. Let's look at it from a practical perspective. You know the reason why his word is bond and the advice that he gives and the teachings that he gives is real is because he had the abundance. If you think about it figuratively, let's just look at it from the perspective of the story. The story was the devil came and tempted him with all of the riches of the world, all of the kingdoms, he would literally be the ruler of the world if he just gave up his soul, if he just kneeled and worshiped the devil, right? That was the whole thing. And he said no, and he rejected all of those things and he went about it his own way. It's the same thing now. That's what I'm saying. You can learn a lot of shit. You don't need to be religious to understand shit about Jesus and understand things about the Bible. There are practical things that I've been reading that make sense now that I'm in the headspace to understand it outside of a religious framework. But it's the same thing. If Jesus never had that and he just grew up poor, Jesus had rich clothes. Like, they were doing lottery. They were literally doing like lottery runs for his clothing when he was on the cross. He was a wealthy guy. He had money. He wasn't poor, right? But he rejected being a king and going into hedonism and doing all these things. I'm sure like he probably had women who were attracted to him that were probably tempting him left and right. He had all this shit, but he said no. And he went the other way. That's more respectable than a guy who is a peasant who doesn't get anything and tries to be morally higher than everybody else by claiming that he just thinks it's unethical, so that's why he doesn't do it. That's bullshit. That's the nice guy. That guy is a fucking failure. And I hope that's not you. So I hope this video is valuable. I hope you learned something. Again, I'm running my one-on-one mentorship. If you are interested in working with me one-on-one to help you attract better, higher quality women and know how to actually like maintain and manage them as well, manage a woman or whatever it is your situation is. Get in the best shape of your life so that you can actually attract women, because that is attractive to women. You know that if you've been watching me for a long time. And also build a business if that's something that you're interested in. Have the energy, have the discipline, and know exactly what needs to happen to build a business. I have experience building multiple different businesses. I have experience getting in shape. I have experience with women. I'm married right now, so obviously I'm at the pinnacle of where you could be from a relationship perspective, and it's going amazing. And any guy who's been around me and been around me and my wife or just know my wife in general, they know that they're like, bro, she's a G. Like literally, one of my friends who just moved here in Oradea. He lived in Bucharest, but he moved here in Oradea. He literally went out to dinner. It was me, my wife, and him. And he was like, afterwards, he's like, bro, she's a fucking G, bro. Like, I've never seen this shit. So I say all this to say, if you want to work with me and be able to get the freedom, get the physique, get the business or the money, whatever it is that you want to do, the processes are all pretty much the same. The mindset, all of that. Link will be in the description. Again, I probably have 1 or 2 more spots available. I've been filling up pretty fast since a month of launching this. I'm already capped out. I'm only taking on a few more guys before I turn this into a group mentorship, and then have my one-on-ones be more pricier than they are, because again, my time is very scarce and I need to make sure that my value for my time is compensated, and also I can serve way more people with the group format. So if you want to have that one-on-one access with me, link will be in the description. All my other courses will be down there if you want to work on specific areas of your life and you don't necessarily need my help on that, you just need some insights, they will be there as well. So I appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the next video.